Yep, and if they agree or disagree on their tops here. Pam, let's start with you. What's number 3 on your list?
Number 3 is She Said, and I reviewed this on the show a little while ago, and it is about the true story about the 2 New York Times reporters, Megan Twohey and Jodi Kantor, who broke the story about Harvey Weinstein. Jodi Kantor and Megan went to all lengths of the earth in order to overturn the stories, to find out what really happened in Hollywood. This is one of those stories that I left the theater. I couldn't talk to anybody afterwards. I was so angry. I was also very hopeful that these 2 women have made a difference in our lives for the better.
Okay, Chuck, did you like that one?
What's my number 3?
No. Did you like that one?
It was okay.
Okay. Well,
we're going to hash it out here in a few seconds.
Your number 3, I believe, is Happening.
Happening, yes. It's a French film that came out earlier in this year. It's based on a novel written by Annie Ernaux. It deals with a young woman who is a college student in France in the 1960s. She ends up pregnant after a one-night stand, and at that point, that was basically meant that her life was over. She was going to be regulated to being a housewife, raising the child, having no career whatsoever. So she seeks an abortion, but at that point in the country's history, abortions were illegal. And this goes into the steps that she takes in order to achieve this or get this procedure. This movie just really shook me up. I mean, this was before we had the overturning of the Roe Wade decision. So there was no telling that this was going to be as timely as it ends up proving to be. A young French actress, I want to make sure I get her name right, Anne-Marie Villamonte. She is great as Anna, the young woman who is seeking this procedure. A movie that really moved me, really resonated with me. You can find this on IFC through Amazon. Highly recommend.
Okay. Number 2 for Pam.
Number 2, this was a tough one for me to figure out, but I really felt strongly that people need to see this movie, which is one of the reasons why I put it up there. It's resonated with me for months and months, called The Good Boss. It's a Spanish film that stars Javier Bardem as Blanco. He is the boss of a large manufacturing company, and he is about to get an award, but he has to make sure that all his I's are dotted and his T's are crossed, which means that his staff needs to be happy, and they are not. He seems perfect on the outside, but when we find out what's really going on behind closed doors, we see that he's not so perfect after all. This is subtitled, Do Not Let That Scare You Away. This is a smart film. You don't know which way things are going to turn. Everything is a surprise, and of course, Bardem is exquisite.
Okay.
Number 2, Chuck?
Number 2, Emily the Criminal, another movie that came out earlier in the year, a Sundance darling with Aubrey Plaza in the title role as a woman who is backed into a corner. She's in a dead-end job. She's got massive debt through student loans. She doesn't know really which way to turn, but she finds out about a little scam in which she commits credit card fraud and earns big money for doing very little. Well, this one decision leads to another questionable decision, which leads to another questionable decision, and before you know it, she is in over her head as far as breaking the law. This movie is so timely. This movie is so well acted, running a brisk 97 minutes. This one really shook me up because it really talks about how we're all trapped in some way and how some people take desperate measures in order to get out of it.
Okay, your number 1 for 2022.
My number 1, this is also a tough decision, but this one just haunts me continually. It's called The Good Nurse. It's streaming on Netflix. Stars Eddie Redmayne as Charlie Cullen, who is a serial killer, but we don't know that in the beginning. He's just a nurse who seems to have death follow him in the emergency room and the ICU until he finds himself in the position of being a nurse with Amy, played by Jessica Chastain. Amy finds out later on, after they've become very close friends, she's let him into her life to help her raise her 2 young children as a friend, and she is also battling a heart condition of which she does not have any insurance, which is a whole other story in and of itself. She finds out that Charlie is responsible for the deaths of those on her watch, and she has to find the gumption and the integrity to do what's right, which is what all the other hospitals that he has been at in the past have not had the courage to do. Incredible story, incredibly acted, and a true crime story that is told in a very different way. Really enjoyed this.
Just from hearing about your reviews of this movie, I just keep thinking about it. I've yet to see it, so I don't know if I can handle it. Okay, Chuck, you're number 1.
My number one is The Banshees of Innish, a movie that I looked forward to a great deal, and it did not disappoint. It takes place in 1923 on a remote Irish island. Colin Farrell is Pedrick, and there we see Brendan Gleeson as his friend Colm. Well, Colm doesn't want to be friends anymore, and that knocks Pedrick on his feet. He cannot figure out just what has happened that has torn this friendship asunder. And he goes to great lengths in order to rectify things, but his buddy doesn't want to have anything to do with him. This one really resonated with me because of the inexplicable nature of all this, and also because basically it deals with loneliness and how we deal with isolation, how we deal with being by ourselves when perhaps we don't like ourselves. This one really, really got to me. I've seen it 3 times and I'm ready to go back again.
Wow, you got one more to catch up to Puss in Boots over here.
Oh,
for 4 times.
You're right. Okay, I'll get on that.
Okay, so none of those matched up. You've got your top 10 that are going to be on your website and on your podcast.
Yep.
Do any of them match?
We've got a couple. That overlap.
Couple?
Yeah,
Okay.
but not as many in years past.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well, those are some good top 3s. Very interesting. So if you want to find out that top 10, you're going to have to just go follow them. They have a great podcast. They're on social media, YouTube channel, and of course, we'll have all that for you. There's a look at their Facebook page as well.